Hi, my name is Chris Durham. Welcome to another episode of Drinks from Eddie Muller's Noir Bar. Each week I take a chapter from the book Eddie Muller's Noir Bar, Cocktails Inspired by the World of Film Noir, and I talk about the film in that chapter and I make the drink associated with it. Last week I made the 50th drink and talked about the 50th movie in the book, which means that I wept because there was no more booze left to conquer. So I decided to do one more video just to kind of wrap it up and see what I talk about, what I learned in doing all of this. I'm probably going to take a bit of a break. Comic-Con is coming up and I do work for the show, so I'm going to be focusing on that. I will probably regroup and revisit what I'm doing with this channel in August. So hopefully you guys will come back in a couple of months and see what I'm doing. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about all of the things that I learned from doing this. It was actually a good experience. It was a lot of work. There was a fair amount of expense involved. I mean, you found yourself going out and buying, $30 bottles of booze to use like 3/4 of an ounce of it in some drink. But I think I want to talk about the big things that I learned. I'm going to start with the bad. I figured out I don't like scotch. There was I think 3 drinks that called for scotch, and the first one was Pinch and Water, and that is the Dimple Pinch, which is a blended scotch. In fact, all of these are blended scotches. And then we had another scotch, and I even went out and bought some Johnny Walker Black Label, small bottle. Hopefully the better quality Johnny Walker would kind of sway me over, and it just didn't. This one I kind of felt like had a very pronounced gasoline-y type flavor. Not that I've ever drank gasoline, but if I did, I imagine that this is about what it would taste like. This one had that gasoline-y flavor, but less pronounced. This one, it was still there, but even less pronounced. So basically, I like this one the least. I like this one less least, and then I like this one least. But the case is, I don't think I like scotch. I'm not going to completely give up on it. If somebody really wanted to share something that they thought would be a good starter scotch with me, like a single malt or something, maybe I could be swayed. But so far, I'm just going to give scotch a miss and call it good. So let's move those out of the way. So the biggest surprises I had in doing this was there was a film. Most of the films I had seen before. There were only about 8 or 10 of the 50 that I hadn't seen, and the one that I think took me by surprise and I liked the best was one called Alias Nick Beale, with Ray Milland and Thomas Mitchell. It was kind of a retelling of the Faust tale. Very good, but what I really liked about it is I really liked the way the ending resolved. And for me, sometimes a great ending will just make it something that I'm always going to love, and that's kind of what I feel like with that. The biggest surprise, drink-wise, was a drink called the Boilermaker, which I made with, I think, the Devil Thumbs a Ride. Now, I'm a bit of a beer snob, and so I spent a lot of time thinking about, I wanted to do the shot in the beer, which is a Boilermaker. I wanted to do a shot of bourbon, so I was trying to think of what type of beer would go with bourbon. And I finally decided I would go with a pale ale. I got some AleSmith 341, something like that. It's the one that's a tribute to Tony Gwynn of the San Diego Padres, best player to ever, the late Tony Gwynn, the best player to ever play on the Padres, and his lifetime batting average. It's a good kind of amber ale that has a bit of bite, but not too much bite. I thought it would go very well with the bourbon. What I found out on that was that once you drop that shot of bourbon into a beer, it turns into a bourbon flavored beer. But I was kind of okay with that. It was actually really good. You know, it totally has the mouthfeel feel of a beer, but it tastes like bourbon, and I was way down with that. That was really good. I haven't had one since. I think someday I'm going to come home, just have a really crappy day at work or something, and feel like I think I need a Boilermaker to do it with that. I haven't had a day that bad in a while, so I'm going to save that up for that. Anyway, the main thing that I learned from doing this was I kind of learned to appreciate rum. I didn't know a lot about rum when I started this journey. I still don't know a lot about rum, but I know more than when I started. And rum is kind of like the Wild West of the spirit world. It has to be distilled from sugar or sugar cane or sugarcane juice, basically a sugar product. But beyond that, kind of all bets are off. I mean, it can be light, it can be dark, it can be aged, it can be unaged. You can add flavors to it. You can add colors to it. You can add spices to it, like spiced rums or flavors. You can add sugar to it to make it sweeter. So it kind of goes everywhere. But in fact, you can even take an aged rum that would normally have a little bit of color to it and then filter it so that it removes all the color. So you still get the body of an aged rum, but it looks clear like an unaged rum. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's really cool. I still don't know a lot about it. I have a good friend who is really into rum, so when I have rum questions, I go and ask him. But there were some really good rums. This is one of the ones I started with is Flor de Cana, which is a 7-year aged dark rum, and this Hamilton 87 White Stash, which I just had to buy. And this is one of those silver rums where it's an aged rum where I do believe they filtered out the color on it. So I use that for my silver rum. And then I bought this. As you can see, the Flor de Cana, I went through quite a bit of it since I started this. I had to get this as a backup for alias Nick Beale, which required a dark rum, a Barbados rum. So I bought this plantation rum. But the one I really think is the star is this guy here, this Hamilton 86 Demerara rum. And this is a very strong tasting rum. It's got a lot of really kind of burnt sugar, burnt marshmallow type flavors in it. And I probably can't even drink it by itself, but putting it in a drink with a lot of ingredients, it really kind of holds up to all that, and it comes out really, really nice. So that one in this, of all these bottles, I think this one's the star. But what I tend to do is I tend to use maybe, like, say, half of this and half of this, and then I get some of that burnt flavors, but I'm not overwhelmed with it. I even went so far as I ran into this one, and I only have a airline bottle. I think somewhere there's a silver one floating around here, but it's a Tandui Gold Asian rum. So rum is even made in the East. I think this was made in the Philippines, and I ran into a review online, so I had to get it and try it out, and I still haven't got around to testing that one. Anyway, I do really appreciate the rum. I'm going to make what is, I think, my favorite drink from the book. We're going to take a short break, and I will come back and make that, and then we'll wrap this whole thing up. All right, I hope you stick around for that. Thanks. And we are back. So we're going to make the drink which turned out to be my favorite in the book. There were actually two that I would really call my favorites. Both are tiki drinks. One was the Pearl Diver, and the other one is the Mai Tai. Now, the Pearl Diver is awesome and it's well worth making, but it does take a little bit of work. You have to make the syrup, and so you have to kind of plan ahead on that. The Mai Tai is something that, with a little bit of work, you probably have the ingredients or can get the ingredients to make this drink and make it without too much trouble. It's a drink that, even though it is a tiki drink, it has kind of crossed over into mainstream bars. I'm sure there are probably lots of very mediocre Mai Tais running around that probably still taste pretty good. I have a feeling Mai Tais are kind of like pizza in that, you know, even bad pizza is still pizza, and even a bad Mai Tai is still a Mai Tai. But made right, it's really, really good. So I think we're going to just stop talking about it and make the dang thing. So we're going to start. It's a shaken drink, so let's load up with some ice. Come on. Okay, we'll call that good. Now, okay, we're going to start with a 1/2 ounce of white rum. That is a slightly heavy pour of white rum, but I'm not going to let that bother me. Okay, and then we do 3/4 of an ounce of orange curacao, which is an orange liqueur. And there we go. And then a 1/2 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. No, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. Okay, and then a 1/2 ounce of orgeat, which is that is the wrong end of the thing. So I'm going to say that's probably a 1/2 ounce right there. Okay. So then we're going to give this a shake. We still have one more ingredient to add, but we add that after we shake. I can tell it's really getting cold because the tin is kind of being chilly in my hand. Now, the other thing with this one is we use crushed ice, and I forgot to get a scoop, so I'm just going to dump from my little ice smashing bag. And there we go. So we've got our crushed ice, and we're going to strain this lovely concoction over our crushed ice. Okay, and as I said, there's one more ingredient that we need, and that ingredient is dark rum. Now, recommend a 1/2 ounce of dark rum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use about a 1/4 ounce of this standard dark rum and a 1/4 ounce of this Demerara rum, which I think will give it a little bit more bite. So, and there we go. We just dump that in on top. And that goes in there. And then we garnish with a lime wheel. And a sprig of mint. And there you have your Mai Tai. This is this really is a great drink. I love this one. Everything comes together so good in this drink. If you're ever in a place that has a really good bar and you know they make good drinks and you've never had a Mai Tai before and you want to give it a shot, I would go to a place like that and let them see what they can do with a Mai Tai. It may not be exactly this thing, but I bet you a good bartender probably has their maybe slightly different riff on the Mai Tai, but it's probably going to be a good one. They might be mixing up the rums a little bit. They might be playing with proportions, but it's going to be a good drink. So, for the last time from my booth in the back of Eddie Muller's Noir Bar, we're going to say cheers. And I will see you, hopefully I will see you guys in a couple of months when I figure out what I'm doing for my YouTube channel again after Comic-Con. Cheers.